Leadership, is a journey, and we're constantly just learning and growing and refining how we impact people. Basketball growing up was a huge part of our lives. And after that year was over, I flew across the world to Shenzhen, China, and got to experience life in a different culture where it's important who you bring into the locker room is super important when you're trying to build a program. So I think you always have to be open-minded, and like you said, some coaches that do the same thing year in and year out, some of them are really good at teaching it. The ultimate goal of any coach or a leadership position is to try to bring out the best in people and maximize their potential.
Welcome to the 10th episode of the Goodenuf2 podcast, where we like to meet with influential guests and positive leaders. I am your host, Herman, Senor II. I'm here with Mike Cameron. Mike, nice to have you.
Nice to have you, Herman.
Yeah, so Mike is the head coach of Jacksonville High School. Mike and I have grown up, known each other since we were way little, probably like 2-3 years old, playing bitty ball at the Y in the Walnut Room. And Mike's had some recent success as a coach at Jacksonville. So we want to get into that, talk a little bit about your background with basketball, and talk about where you're at now and where you're going. So Mike, once again, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Herm. I'm excited to have a conversation and catch up. I'm grateful for the experiences basketball has given me and the relationships that have come from it. I've had the opportunity to play for some great coaches and work along some that have helped kind of shape me into who I am today. And but leadership, is a journey, and we're constantly just learning and growing and refining how we impact people.
Yeah. So let's get into a little bit about your journey. With me, myself, I know you from Pleasant Plains. When you were a ball boy there, my dad was a ref and your dad was a coach. When we were 2-3 years old, my dad would come ref the games, and then I'd be like, oh, I know this guy looks my age. I'll just go sit with him on the bench. And then, that leads to us playing one-on-one during timeouts and the crowd going crazy while we're playing one-on-one. And they're like, how can those kids make baskets? And we were just so little. So that passion from basketball started early. From Pleasant Plains, we played at the Y together. We played travel ball, blue golds together. Throughout college, we trained when you were at Lincoln Land and at Mac, and I was at Quincy. And then similar journeys to where we both played and coached overseas. So with all of those, I just gave them a little bit of rundown. How did this background, being a coach's son, playing at all these different locations, how does that fuel your fire for basketball? Take us to the beginning. Like when I'm talking about like Pleasant Plains being ball boy, like what about those situations made you stick with basketball?
Well, we grew up in the gym, right? Like you said it, like there's pictures of us, at that age being so small, playing at half court or during halftime of games. So like basketball growing up was a huge part of our lives, thankful and grateful for, our parents and our dads who coached, and we got to grow up with that. And as a ball boy at Plains, I got to be a part of, quote unquote, some really special teams, 2 state championships, and just so basketball was important. And then, got to play junior college, played Division III basketball, and then kind of like most people, once you are done playing, you kind of are like, now what? Like, how can I stay close and connected to the game of basketball? And for me, that was coaching, and I love it. Love the impact you can have on people, and then just where we are right now in the conference I coach in, it's really cool to compete and coach against some of the best coaches in the state and some of the same coaches that were coaching when we were playing. Right. So, it's cool to find out that there's so many different ways to do things, and there's not one way to be successful. And so just kind of figuring out your own coaching style is really cool and fun.
So what about your experiences, because I didn't touch on Carroll and I didn't touch too much on like UIS. So how did coaching there kind of build your coaching style?
Yeah, UIS is where it started, and
kind of explain, when did you get to UIS?
So after my last year at MacMurray, it would have been the 2018, 2019 season.
Yeah.
and for Bill Walker and Coach Bill Walker, and then obviously some of the guys. We had Peyton Allen, Nicole Harper, and Vince. And
was Colin on that team too?
Colin was there,
Yeah.
yep, a lot of local guys.
Yep.
And so it was a cool time to be there, just close with those guys, and that's kind of how my coaching career got started. And I got to learn synergy and how to make scouting reports, and that's kind of where all that stuff started. And after that year was over, I flew across the world to Shenzhen, China, and got to experience life in a different culture, which was super cool, and grateful for that experience. And then coming back, that trip got cut short due to COVID, so I had to come back, and then accepted a job at Greenview High School. So that was where my coaching career, my first varsity career started. And then after that year was over, went up to Carroll University in Wisconsin, was a GA for 2 years, learned a lot, and then I came to Jacksonville.
Yeah. So out of all those coaching stints, take away Jacksonville, what did you like the most about those? Like, which one was the best, you think?
As far as learning experience, Carroll University, no doubt. Like, being a grad assistant at Division III level, you're wearing so many different hats. Like, you're making scouting reports like I was at UIS, but you're involved with recruiting and player development and coaching the JV team and kind of the operational stuff and working out, campus visits and just the list could go on and on. So I think that experience helped prepare me to be a high school basketball coach.
Yeah, because a lot of the coaches, a lot of players don't really know what the assistant coaches do. A lot of people, like fans in general, probably don't know how much the assistant coaches actually get done. Like the head coach is like the CEO, of course they put their signature on everything and they approve a lot of things, but a lot of that stuff that's getting done is assistant coaches. And I know as well, being at UIS, and Coach Brock does a lot for the program, but I'm saying a lot of behind the scenes stuff, conversing with players and actually getting them the stuff on time. What do they want to eat? Where do they want to go? Like all that stuff, that's all assistant coaches. So I think that definitely prepares you to be a head coach, because then you're like, well, look at all this stuff I don't have to get done. But on that other side, you have to hire staff who's committed to do that. And especially in an area like Jacksonville, that brings me to my next question. It's hard to get a committed and dedicated staff, especially if their son isn't on the team, So what is it like building a program in Jacksonville? Like what are some of the hurdles you have to get over, obstacles, but what are the really good things about building a program in Jacksonville?
Well, it starts with having great people on your staff, like you said, and fortunately we have a great staff. Colin Keltner is our assistant, and we're teammates at MacMurray. He helped get me there, and that's where our friendship and a relationship started. And then Corey Bunner was a longtime player, and he's a baseball coach, and then Mick Walls, and so we have a staff that cares about the community. So it starts with the coaching staff being on board with your vision as a head coach, and then the players. It's important who you bring into the locker room is super important when you're trying to build a program. So it starts with the people, and then trying to build your culture off that. Yeah,
so in building that culture, what are some habits that you think you need to instill or you have instilled into the players to reach this early success, but also to help them, help Jacksonville's basketball program, but also them as athletes when they leave? So like what habits are you getting them to start as freshmen or when they choose to play basketball, and what habits do you hope they continue to display?
Yeah, and culture is kind of a tough word to explain, right? But you know it when you feel it, and you know when you want to be a part of something and when you don't. And for us, we have two values that kind of guide everything we do. And the first one is connection, and that's our team relationships and the kind of teammate you're expected to be. And that all starts with how you communicate, and that's talk to lift the team, and that's on the court, that's in the locker room, that's after a good play or a bad play. And then the second one we value is growth. And that's more just the process of how we get better every day. That's being consistent, that's building great habits. And so we value those things.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to the next one too. So when we're talking about that 8th grader becoming a 9th grader, or just your youth camps in general, what are you doing? Are you doing youth camps for the 8th grade and under? Are you having transition programs for 8th grade to 9th grade? Like, what are you doing to establish that early on? Because this is your 3rd year right there, right? So you haven't had a freshman go to senior yet. So what are you doing for those 8th grade and under, or 8th grade to 9th grade?
Yeah, this will be the first class this next year I've had them the full entire 4 years, and there's a lot more we want to do with the program, but we do have camps in the summertime. We do run a middle school fall academy in October where we meet five Tuesdays, before our season starts, and I think the main objective of that is to build the relationships with those kids and make them excited to be a player in your program. And there's a certain skill level and there's certain things you're trying to teach and implement, but I think the main thing is you are building habits, and some things we look for when we talk about how connected we want our team to be is, like, on the court, are you celebrating your teammates' success, like with the high fives and fist bumps, and if someone's on the floor, like, help them up, like in between free throws, like high-fiving each other, like those things seem so small, but we value those. And I think, like, as us, we played so much together, we did all those things, and I don't know if that's just from us playing so much or us seeing it on TV or whatever it may be, but I think you do have to kind of teach those things, and those little things make a difference, especially in our program.
So you're building those habits on those, specifically on those 5 Tuesdays before the season. You're getting those 8th graders in there, and you're showing them what the culture is going to be like at the high school level, giving them a whole season to kind of try it out in their 8th grade season, and then by high school they're ready to go. And that kind of makes me bring up another question. Do you implement the same system from high school to your 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade coaches? Because Jacksonville is kind of like a Lincoln, a Chatham, a Riverton, a Williamsville, where it's only one high school. Yeah, they can go to Route, but if they're public school, they're going to Jacksonville. So, you know what I'm saying? Are you giving them any guidelines to be like, hey, I want to run 5-out offense, I want to run some pick and rolls, or we want to run this defense? Are you trying to build that system?
Yes and no. Like, I think there's value in letting the coaches have some freedom and kind of develop their own coaching style as well. But there's certainly some things we want them to implement, especially in practice. Like, maybe there's a couple drills, quote unquote, that we like to do and that are fun for our guys and we think kind of help develop basketball players. And but as far as a defense goes, not really, because we're changing every year as well. This year
you're not like running a full 1-2-2 trap.
We're not doing that. We might, like, if our guys 1 year, that's what.
Or 1-3-1 with the big guys.
1-3-1 was very successful for us this year, and I don't know if that's what we're going to do next year. So I think more so at the youth level, making sure that they are in practice, they're playing advantage basketball, or playing, they're playing 4-on-3, they're playing 3-on-3, they're helping kids become good decision makers, and I think that's really important. Yeah,
because kind of what you hit on, a lot of people that just play basketball for fun and don't really get the strategy, they don't get that. It's kind of similar to soccer. We just want to have an advantage, and then we want to keep the advantage. And then on defense, we don't want to let the offense get an advantage or get into the blender or whatever. So, I think a lot of people lose sight of that. They just want to do moves, they want to do all that stuff, and they don't realize it's just a numbers game or in a spacing game, really. But let's talk a little bit about your success. 23-9 in your second year, regional championship. First regional since 1990 in 2000 school year. And the most wins in program history since 91-92. So we talk about that. That's at least 25 years and then over 30 years. So what does that feel like to bring success to Jacksonville, and what is it like to try to take it to new heights?
It was exciting, and we had a really good group of guys that we did this with, 4 really good seniors who kind of helped lay our foundation, and they left this program better than they found it. And they left a standard for our program. And
sure.
so Jacksonville, like you said in the beginning, has a rich history of basketball. They've been very successful, but it's been a while. And 26 years since the last regional championship was special for our guys, for our community. It's something that we will all remember for a long time. But you know, building a program, like you said, isn't just off of one season or one team. And
Right.
Yeah, it was cool, but hopefully we can find a way to sustain it and just be consistent in our success.
Yeah, and I know myself, my freshman year, I played in a regional championship at Jacksonville, and I literally couldn't hear a thing because it was at the bowl. So I know what it means for them to just get so close, for you to take them over that. I know how excited the city was, and I know how excited they'll be to, one, if you guys get to host a regional and do it in town, but also just to continue the program. Because like you said, that history of basketball is there. Basketball in Jacksonville is always competitive, but you got to play against Springfield, Southeast, Lanphier. You got to play against SSG. You got to play against Decatur. So you guys have tough competition year in and year out. And I think that's what makes the CS8 so special, is that you think it might be this team this year, but you know, if you split everybody in regionals, everybody has a chance to win rather than we're all knocking each other out. So I'm glad you guys were like able to not have to knock out another CS8 team and then get to see like you guys' success and then build that momentum. Now I know the 8th grade, 7th grade freshman guys are like super motivated to keep playing.
And real quick on how good the CS8 is, we went 23-9 this year, and we lost 2 games to teams that were not in our conference, like East St. Louis
right.
and West Hancock. All the other losses were conference games.
Yeah, and that says a lot about the competition you're playing, but also how the quality of your team, like you said, like they were a good, solid core group of guys that are defining the culture and leaving it in a good, good stance. So kind of if we take a step back and not talk about just Jacksonville in general, but just for anybody, what advice would you have for young athletes, or advice for young coaches or athletes that are transitioning into coaching? So kind of 2 questions. Young athletes trying to develop, what advice for them? And then coaches or players that want to become coaches, or coaches that are assistants and want to become head coaches.
So first off, for advice for players that maybe want to play at the next level or whatever, goals are good, right? Like some always say, I want to play college basketball, but you got to have a system in place, right? It's all about your daily habits and what you're trying to do every day. So that's more important than the goal itself. And there's a certain skill level that you need to play at the next level. Like you got to be able to shoot. You got to be able to make decisions. You got to be able to compete. I think competing is a skill nowadays, especially. For sure. And then there's also the character side of it. Like, do people enjoy playing with you? Are you coachable? Like, do you show up on time? Are you a good communicator? Like, so there's a certain skill level, there's a certain mindset, and there's a certain type of teammate you need to be in order to have a chance.
It's almost like the best players that, you know, we continue to be in locker rooms with, or people that become coaches, they latch on to those words like coachable and like accountability and stuff, and they take it to heart, really, and they try to show that DNA throughout not just basketball, but their whole walk of life, really. Absolutely. So it basically, kind of from what I'm taking, what you're saying is they got to make it their DNA. It can't just be, I want to be good at basketball. They got to want to be pretty good at everything that they do. Be great, excellent at everything they do. Keep their standards high.
Habits. Yeah, for sure. And then for coaches, or young coaches that want to be a coach one day, I think the importance of finding a mentor or somebody that you look up to, that's somebody that's been successful, and
for sure.
Ask questions. Like, again, there's not one way to do things. There's so many different ways to be successful and run a program, and you just kind of got to find what works for you, and don't try to copy and paste. You can certainly ask questions and steal things. That's what coaches do, but at the end of the day, you got to be authentic to who you are and develop your own philosophy and coaching style. Yeah,
because it kind of alluded to a point you were making earlier. Your team that you had this year, good at the 1-3-1, had some size up front, hard to make that pass over the top, could close out to teams. Your team this following season might not have the same DNA, so you might not be able to run the same exact program. I think one thing you see on social media, and just in general with coaches, old school coaches, they want to do the exact same thing every year. On Monday we do this, on Tuesday we do this, on Wednesday, like, yeah, that works, but this year we have a whole new team. You might have people that are multi-sport athletes that can do more than just run up and down and jump. Like, you might have some guys that are really good at plays, or you might have guys that are opposite and that just need freedom. So year after year, you can't be stuck in the same thing. So like you're saying, the coaches got to do work to realize what their DNA is, but what's the DNA of their team? Like, who do they have coming in? What are their assistant coaches think? Like, has that been a struggle for you? Have you been able to accept coaching from the coaches?
Yeah, I'm always going to listen and hear people's opinions or in what they think works, and I think you always have to be open-minded. And like you said, some coaches that do the same thing year in, year out, some of them are really good at teaching it,
right,
and it's successful for them. But I think there's a balance to it between like freedom versus structure with certain type of players or certain type of styles of play. And for me, it's going to change probably every year. Like, because I'm right now I'm passionate about learning different styles of play and kind of figuring out what is our best brand of basketball. So I have no idea what I have ideas, but we'll use the summertime to kind of figure out what works for us.
And we're in a weird time too with Illinois basketball, because you got the shot clock. So a lot of coaches that you've coached at the shot clock level, a lot of coaches never coach at a shot clock level. So their offenses are continuous, backdoor, continuous, wide open three. Yeah. Well, you can't continue. We got to have an exit play. 10 seconds left, 8 seconds left on the shot clock. We're going to need to exit. You're going to have a leg up on these guys. You've played in that. You've coached in that, right? So when we're talking about systems and all that stuff, I feel like I said, we're just in a weird time where people are going to have to adapt. So people have been doing a lot of similar things. You have an advantage because you're just now establishing, and you're used to changing up every year anyway. So,
well, I hope I have an advantage, but most of the games we play, like, very rarely does the possession last longer than 20 seconds the way it is, especially when you're playing in our conference. But it'd be nice to be, it'd be nice that we don't have to guard that long for the main thing. So I think players defensively can buy in a little bit more and give a little bit more, knowing that they don't have to guard for a minute. But offensively for us, you're going to find an early advantage, and shot selection is super important. And but ultimately, it's good for the game. It prepares players more for the next level. They have to make quicker decisions, and so I'm excited about the shot clock.
Yeah, and some people they say it doesn't really matter because 1% or 3% of these guys are going on to college to play at the shot clock level. But I think it does matter to those guys for their transition into basketball. And this is just what basketball at the highest level looks like anyway. There is a shot clock. So like you're saying, the possessions are already fast, and it's not going to affect the game as much as people think. But I do think from a standpoint of the ball goes out of bounds, and the shot clock resets to 20 seconds. That's still something where people are going to forget. We got a shot clock. It's not back at 35. It's only at 20. We got to score quick rather than we don't have a full shot clock. Yeah. Or on defense, you get a stop. Then there's an offensive rebound. We got to play defense for 20 more seconds. Yeah. But instead of them running the clock out with the offense, you only got to play seconds play defense 20 more seconds. Sure. So I love that part of the game. You're probably going to get more people in the game because it's going to be faster. People are going to get tired. Fun up and down.
People in the stands,
It's going to be, I think it's going to be exciting. So with that, where do you see, you just got married, building a family, living in Jacksonville, right? So where do you see yourself impacting, or how do you see yourself impacting Jacksonville outside of basketball?
That's a good question. I'm a husband, right? Mm-hmm. Married. We're expecting our first child in October. So,
yes, sir. Congrats.
Appreciate that. And we're excited to build our family in Jacksonville. Yep. It's my wife is established there. Basketball is important in Jacksonville, and our program is important to the community. And so just hopefully I can, build a program that our players are proud to be a part of, and our community's proud to support. Mm-hmm. And a lot of ways to impact people And I just want to continue growing in that field and figuring out, how I can serve the community better. And because we like it here, and I feel like I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, now if you feel like you're where you're supposed to be, we're in the era of the transfer portal and coaches getting up and leaving for more salaries and stuff. So if you feel like where you're supposed to be, I feel like that gives the players the opportunity to trust you and see what you're building and buy in and know that, hey, I'm not going to be at Jacksonville for more than 4 years, but I know that Coach Cameron is going to put me in the best position to go on after. I feel like, a lot of young, hungry coaches are looking for that next spot too, rather than to build a community. So it's good that you're in a spot where you can grow, and kind of special too because your dad coached there.
That does make it more special. And like you said, it's a place where I can grow and,
So with growth, where do you see Jacksonville basketball program going in the next few years with you as the leader and even beyond you as the coach, whether that's you going to somewhere else or you just not coaching anymore? Who knows what that is, but just in general, what does the future of Jacksonville basketball look like with Coach Cameron at the helm, but then afterwards, how do you want to leave it?
Hopefully, I can build a program that lasts. And for us, it's always been about having a program that your players are proud to be a part of. And I think as coaches, promoting joy and a love of the game is part of our responsibility. Like, it's got to be fun for them. Only 4% of players go on to play at any level in college basketball. So I think part of coaching is making sure that you're giving them a good experience and just helping them make memories that they can remember forever. And so just continuing to develop players. We want to win games and stuff like that, but that can't be the focus. Like, I love what I do, and hopefully we can continue to just help players grow and bring out the best in people, and each year maximize our team's potential, and then just leave the program better than found it. For sure.
I mean, with a little bit of that, like you were saying, it made me think, what are you doing? Because you have college connections and you have experience at that level, so you know how to develop athletes to get to that level. What are you doing out of the norm of a high school coach within the rules, of course, to get your players to the next level? Is it just the mindset and the preparation and you reaching out, or is there something a little bit more that you're doing to help them get there?
Yeah, so we have 3 guys going on to play at the next level next year, which is super exciting for us. Troy's going to Monmouth College, Grayson's going to Illinois College, and Mason's going to Culver Stockton. So so we're excited about that, and hopefully those things can happen more, and players know that, okay, I can go on to play at the next level coming from this program. And again, I think everything we're trying to do is, if that's what guys want to do and an opportunity comes of it, like, they're prepared. Like, they know what it takes. Like, again, we've had the experiences, we know what these programs do, and so you're trying to build habits and prepare them as best you can, and that's off season is huge. Like, IHSA gives us 20 days, so we use all 20, and we're in the weight room, we're practicing. Like, it's not just, okay, let's roll the balls out and let's have open gym. Like, we're trying to run it the best way we can, and again, like, make it a program guys want to be a part of, and something that we would have, we'd enjoy playing for.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, that I was kind of gonna allude to that too, because like the Gregory brothers, right? You're now coaching against kids that we used to train together over at Heron's Gym. Like, talk about Cam, Cohen, so Glenwood, SHG, Rochester. These are all kids that we had when they were 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and now you're coaching against them. So talk a little bit about that too, to where, you were just training, thinking back those days where you were just training and you were coaching at UIS and stuff. Did you see yourself getting to this spot? Like, I felt like I saw you getting there, but did you think it was going to be in a place like Jacksonville? Did you see yourself more so training? Like, go back to, those COVID years. What were you thinking 2020, 2021?
Yeah, I think, probably like a lot of coaches, you're trying to ride out your dream and kind of chasing the highest level you can coach at or play at. Like, I think that's probably pretty normal, especially for young people. And
Of course.
when I was at Wisconsin at Carroll, I was applying for different assistant coaching jobs throughout the country. Like I was willing to move wherever. And then it just so happened I saw Jacksonville High School had an opening, and it was an opportunity to come back home. And again, I knew about the bowl, how special that was, and how the community supported basketball, and I'd be closer to friends and family. And so this is a perfect place to build a program and try everything you've learned, all the experiences I've had and connections I made and knowledge learned. Like, it's cool to put it to use and just do the best job you can at it. So for me, it's about where can I impact people, where do I have the most responsibility, and it feels meaningful, it feels purposeful, and I enjoy it. So I'm happy to be here.
So you basically, you enjoy it because you get to apply your meaning to it. It's not like somebody's creating something for you and you have to do it. And I think that's basically what I was getting at with our era, is like, nobody was telling us to go to Bradfordton Athletic Center. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody was telling us to go do these training sessions. We're just hitting each other up doing it. And I feel like that's what, made me be able to start. That's what, coming down to MacMurray to open gyms on Sundays, like during college, like that's what allowed me to be like, all right, well, I play open gyms at Quincy, but let's go see what it's like to play with my boy Mike at his school. And it just fuels that energy and your passion for basketball. So yeah, it's to see you go from, just training, just coaching, assistant, to then, getting your first head coaching and then getting a big head coaching job, 3A school, pretty big deal, right? And now most people would want to go bigger, go to college, go do all this. Like, I'm glad you're like grounded in the fact that you want to build a program, you want to build your career, and then, whatever happens from there. But I think you got a good grasp on like, people are looking at you as, that basketball figure in basketball. Like, yes, there's IC and there used to be MAC, but jumping basketball games on a Friday night, you're going to the bowl. So for those kids in Jacksonville growing up, you're who they see as like, that's the epitome of basketball is Mike Cameron for them. So yeah, it's special to go from, just somebody's backyard gym, us at the Y, Walnut, to like, all right, this is who I want to learn basketball from. So I know that's special. And is there anything just in general that you feel like your kids in Jacksonville, the parents and supporters of Jacksonville, future players, like, is there anything on your heart or mind that you want to share with them to, encourage them or to just share any advice?
Yeah, I appreciate those words, Herm. That means a lot. And like I said, I'm beyond proud to be the basketball coach at Jacksonville High School. I hope to be here a long time. Hopefully we can help kids, get to the next level if that's what they want, or just prepare them for life. I think you're trying, the ultimate goal of any coach or a leadership position is to try to bring out the best in people and maximize their potential. So in our program, we're going to do our best to make sure the players grow as basketball players and grow in life as well. And we certainly don't have all the answers, but we have fun doing it and try to get better every single day.
Yes, sir. That's all you can do. Man, I appreciate you being on the podcast. At the end, have everybody look in the camera and say their name and that they are good enough too. So, Mike, your turn.
Michael Cameron, and I'm good enough too.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.